And we're back for our Week 9 predictions here for the NFL season. We have officially hit the halfway mark of the NFL season, and of course, we've got 28 teams actually playing this week. 4 are on bye week. Real quickly, let's go over them. They are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off their big victory against the New Orleans Saints. No, the Saints are no longer rivals with Tampa. It is a one-sided beatdown. The Philadelphia Eagles are now on bye week as well after a good victory last week against the New York Giants. Ooh, Cam Scatterboom. Yeah, more on that later. That sucks. The New York Jets finally won a game because Zach Taylor is an incompetent play caller, or whoever's calling plays for Cincinnati. Why are you running a halfback dive on 2nd and 10 with 40 seconds to go and letting the clock run out when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback back there? And oh, by the way, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. How Zach Taylor hasn't been fired yet, I don't know. And the Cleveland Browns are also on bye week, who have already committed to another week of Dylan Gabriel because they actually hate Shedeur Sanders. And again, they are going to go to Deshaun Watson in about 4 weeks. When you think it's time for Shedeur, nope, they're going to bring back Deshaun. Kevin Stefanski also deserves to be fired. Anyways, folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more weekly NFL predictions here on the channel. Later in the week and on Saturday, we're going to do our best bets, money lines, and spreads early in the day on Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. We'll do it at noon or 10 o'clock. We'll do 10 o'clock this week. And also our best bets for player props will be out at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern as well. Also, folks on the channel, make sure to go check out our daily NBA best bets every morning. We've got our MLB best bets rolling still. I mean, the World Series is about to end. Dodgers probably winning 5, unfortunately, but maybe 6. I don't know. The MLB best bets, though, are up still daily on the channel. Also, college football predictions were posted yesterday. That's over 4 hours of consecutive college football predictions back to back to back to back to back. You're not going to want to miss that. Also, on Greedo Plays MMA this week, our UFC Fight Night, Garcia versus Onama. Full card prediction, so don't miss that video either. Okay, on to the first of our 13 games. There's no 14 games this week. Kicking things off with Thursday Night Football in Miami, Florida, as we have the Miami Dolphins taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Call me crazy, I'm taking Miami on the points. It's actually 8.5 now, so even better. I think the Dolphins can kind of hang around a little bit in this game. I get it, Lamar Jackson comes back for the Baltimore Ravens. If there's ever a game where Miami can really score a lot of points again after they dominated the Atlanta Falcons, again, the entire NFC South sucks, except for the Buccaneers. If there was ever a game where Miami could put that back to back, it's right now against the Baltimore Ravens. Short week for Baltimore. A lot of controversy, I'll say, about Lamar Jackson. It's kind of weird. He was practicing the entire week up until that Bears game, and then all of a sudden he's not playing, making me think, oh, the Bears are very playable, but Caleb Williams had other ideas. We'll get to that later. Actually in a second, but the Ravens won by 14 points. Shout out to Snoop Huntley, former Pro Bowler, goes in there and gets the victory for the Ravens. They are the odds-on favorite to win the AFC North at 2-5. And now I would think that would have been Cincinnati, but they decided to lose to the Jets. They're 3-5. The Steelers are 4-3. I still think Pittsburgh's winning the division. I know their schedule's way more difficult than Baltimore, but I like the Steelers head-to-head against Baltimore quite a bit. And yes, Lamar Jackson is one of the best players in football, obviously. I mean, you're hard-pressed to say he's not a top 3 quarterback in the sport. So him returning is a big deal, obviously, for Baltimore. Still don't love their defense. I know Chicago, again, only scored 16 points, but early in that game, they quite easily could have been up 14-0 if they could have just executed a little bit in the red zone. The Dolphins won. Big shocker. I mean, that just goes to show how much the Falcons suck, which doesn't make sense to me how they beat the Buffalo Bills. But Tua Tagovailoa plays his best game of the season, goes in there, throws for 205 yards. By the way, Zach Wilson's back to being the second-string quarterback, so I think it was just an injury last week. So, hey, we're still alive, all right? Zach Wilson fans, you know, all of us, we're still going with the Zach Wilson fan club. I just need him to get a starting job again. Anyways, Tua played a great game. I'm not going to complain about Tua this week. 205 yards, 4 touchdowns. He carved up that Atlanta Falcons defense. Jalen Waddle. I mean, Waddle was so involved. That's what they need to do every single week. Obviously, no Tyreek Hill. Darren Waller's out until at least like week 14. I'm still stashing him in fantasy, though. But anyways, Jalen Waddle, 5 catches, 100 yards. Devon Achane, very involved as well, like he always is. And that defense for Miami really shut down Atlanta. Limited Bijan only 25 yards. Obviously, the Falcons fell behind pretty early, so game script didn't really provide for many Bijan carries. But great win, I can say, for the Miami Dolphins going in there and picking up the victory. They've got some momentum now. I'm not telling you they're going to beat Baltimore. I just think the game's going to be a little bit competitive. Baltimore on the road in Miami. Don't forget, this defense is still atrocious. Okay, yes, they've been better in the last two games that they have played against the Rams and against the Chicago Bears. This team's been at home for 3 consecutive weeks. They've not hit the road since the Kansas City week where they lost 37-20. They've played 2 road games the entire season, which is actually absurd. They gave up 37 points against Kansas City on the road and 41 points against the Buffalo Bills on the road. I think Miami should be able to pull off plus 7.5. Now, who's going to win the game? I believe that's going to be the Baltimore Ravens, even though Miami does technically have a better record. Actually, no. Miami's only got 2 wins. Never mind. The Ravens actually have a better record. Oh, what a showdown on Thursday night. Lamar's technically still questionable, which is kind of odd. He's a full participant, though, in walkthrough on Monday. I'm recording this video on Tuesday, so I assume he's practicing on Tuesday. I got to go with the Baltimore Ravens here. I think they win this football game. But to cover, yeah, I think Miami can do it. Would I bet on it? No. Okay? Like last week, I loved the Thursday night matchup with the Chargers and the Vikings, especially with the Carson Wentz injury and the questions around who the starting quarterback is and the fact that Justin Herbert is elite. This week, I don't love the Thursday night matchup. Go bet on college football instead. I'd take the Dolphins, though, plus 7.5, but there are way better games throughout the week. So give me Miami to kick it off. As we go on to our second game of the week in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Bengals take on the Bears. This is the perfect buy low spot on the Cincinnati Bengals. I know you might be very worried about taking Cincinnati this week. I am too, but I'm going to take them to beat the Chicago Bears. I'm back on the negative side of the Chicago Bears. Okay, you put up 20 points in every single game you play. You walk into Baltimore and you only score 16. Way to go, guys. Way to go. I'm back on Cincinnati. I don't think the Bears can outscore this team, okay? Regardless of what you think about that Bengals game and the fact that they couldn't drive down the field with 2 minutes to go and Flacco couldn't lead the big comeback drive like he did on the Thursday night game against Pittsburgh, regardless of what you think of that, that defense sucks, okay? It still sucks. The fact that you're up 14 points with 8 minutes to go against the New York Jets and you choke it. Now, Breece Hall, one hell of a football game. You know, I knew I should have I have kept Breece Hall in fantasy. 3 total touchdowns for Breece, 2 through the air, 2 on the ground, and 1 through the air with a passing touchdown for Breece Hall. Shout out to him for that. And how about Aaron Glenn finally winning a football game? Now, I don't know how that 2-point inversion, I don't know how that crossed the plane. You watch the replay, I don't think he does, but whatever. They gave it to him. They were trying to be nice to the Jets, and somehow the Bengals found a way to lose that football game. That defense is atrocious. Zach Taylor is an atrocious, or whoever. I mean, Zach Taylor is an atrocious head coach. The offensive play caller for the Cincinnati Bengals, atrocious stuff. Again, the fact that they completely tried to wind the clock down because they were so scared if they got into field goal range and kicked one, the Jets were going to get back into field goal range is an absolute joke. The Bengals get a first down, and then they're walking up to the line of scrimmage, not really not up-tempo at all, just thinking, oh, okay, we're going to walk down the field and kick a 50-yard field goal with Evan McPherson, and then you get stuck at a point where you're running the ball in 2nd and 10 after an incompletion after Josivas drops a ball, because what else does Josivas do other than drop footballs? He dropped 2 of them again last week. What does Andrea Josivas do other than drop the football? I don't know. But the Bengals' run game looked good. P-Rye, 9 carries, 94 yards. Chase Brown, 12 carries, 73 yards. It's just that defense is so bad. It's pitiful. But the Chicago Bears, man, I mean, I was kind of getting excited for Caleb Williams. Last week, it was bad for Caleb. 25 for 38 passing, 285 yards and a pick. On paper, that's not that bad of a stat line, but a lot of missed opportunities throughout the entire game for Chicago. We talked about the progression and the improvement in their run game over the last couple weeks. Well, that improvement, it feels like it's absolutely gone, as DeAndre Swift only had 11 carries for 45 yards. We talked about the emergence of Kyle Benengai, the rookie out of Rutgers, 7 carries, 24 yards. Now, Romo Dunze was very involved, obviously. He had 114 yards from 7 catches and 10 targets, but you need more elsewhere from Chicago. The defense couldn't get a stop against Tyler Huntley and Derrick Henry and whatnot. And in all fairness, their offense put that defense in so many horrible positions, field positioning wise. But Chicago started off so great. You work the ball downfield, 2 big drives, and then you stall out on back-to-back drives to kick off the game in the red zone. More of the same later. Ooh, man, it was a brutal game, in my opinion, for the Chicago Bears. And now you go on the road again against another AFC North team, a pissed-off AFC North team, and a team in the Cincinnati Bengals that are going to put points on you. I don't care their defense sucks. It absolutely does. If I can count on one thing from Cincinnati and a Zach Taylor offense, it is that they will score, okay? And Joe Flacco is still playing well as a Bengal. He is. Guys, Joe Flacco, as the Cincinnati Bengal, has been killing it, all right? Joe's questionable. Oh, what? He's questionable with a shoulder injury. He'll play. They're going to find every reason not to play Jake Browning. But how about Joe Flacco so far as a Cincinnati Bengal? He has been dominating. He hasn't thrown an interception yet as a Bengal, which is just absurd, right? I mean, Joe Flacco is struggling with the Browns like everyone does. Cincinnati, 7 touchdowns, 0 picks. Unbelievable stuff. The Bengals should win this week. I'm going to take them at plus money. I'm still not sold. I'm back to being not sold on the Bears, which I was trying to, be optimistic about that team. Oh, I'm not going to pick against Chicago again. No, they started last year 4-2. They finished 5-11, 5-12. The same thing's going to happen this season, okay? That team is not ready for prime time, okay? I cannot take the Bears seriously. They just beat the Cowboys, Raiders, Commanders, and Saints. I should have known better. I should have taken Snoop Huntley and the injured-ass Ravens. I should have done it, but it's okay. Give me Cincinnati at home. Next up, we go on to Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan for the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. So Kevin O'Connell, my goodness. Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings throw Carson Wentz half broken onto the field for controversial reasons. Now, again, we saw that all the way through. Carson Wentz wasn't really practicing last week. Is J.J. McCarthy going to play? Is the former UNH Minnesota Golden Gopher product, Max Brosmer, they're calling him now. They call him Brosmer at New Hampshire, but it's okay. Is Max Brosmer going to start? They give the ball to Carson Wentz. He's injured. You can tell he's playing injured. Kirk Herbstreit is attacking Carson Wentz during the game and saying, "Oh, you're the leader of this team. You can't act out and be emotional like that." Okay, it's fine. Kirk Herbstreit. No, I'm not ragging on Kirk Herbstreit here, but I mean, if you're gonna rag on Carson Wentz, weren't you the same guy who cried when the Ohio State Buckeyes won the national championship game? I'm just, come on. I just gotta point that out there, put that out there. I don't dislike Herbstreit, but I'm just saying, why are you attacking Carson Wentz, who his team put him on the field? They said, no, we're not gonna play McCarthy yet. We don't want to create a quarterback controversy, so we're gonna throw Carson Wentz out there injured. We're going to get him killed out there in Los Angeles. We're going to lose, and then we can put J.J. McCarthy back in. I like J.J. McCarthy. I believe he's the truth, and I think he is the franchise guy in Minnesota. But why put Carson Wentz out there to get absolutely demolished? Now you have 2 rookie quarterbacks. You have McCarthy, you have Brosmer. Carson Wentz, he'll be around, obviously. I think I'm pretty sure Desmond Ridder was here in the offseason. Maybe they bring back Desmond Ridder on the practice squad, even though I don't know if that's the veteran you need, because Minnesota has been talking about they are going to trade for a veteran quarterback. Maybe that's Kirk Cousins coming off the bench. I don't know if they really want that contract. They'll pick up somebody. This might be a job for, I don't even know at this point, Russell Wilson, but he's not. But they need a bench quarterback. Garoppolo. Might be Garoppolo. Anyways, J.J. McCarthy should be back now, I think. Latest report on McCarthy is that Kevin O'Connell says he anticipates McCarthy to have a full week of prep before returning to a starting role Sunday in Detroit. Yeah, I think McCarthy is going to be fine. I just don't love his first game back is against this team, this Detroit Lions team, who was very impressive in their victory against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know Tampa's very injured, and Mike Evans got injured in that game. Holding that offense to 9 points, and I get it, the Saints really buckled down on the Buccaneers as well, but it's good that Tampa's on a bye week this week. They get Bucky back, they get Chris Godwin back. They're going to be fine next week against the Patriots in a big time matchup. But the fact that Lions defense, injured and all, Brian Branch suspended and whatnot, held Tampa and Baker Mayfield to 9 points, that is real. That is good stuff. And don't forget, again, at their best, this is the best offense in the NFL. That's what we marketed that game as, in my opinion. It was like, all right, these are the 2 best offenses in football, Lions and Bucks. Well, the Lions prevailed. They scored 24 points. How about Jared Goff? Jared Goff is truly an elite player in the sport, and it helps, obviously, when you have Jahmyr Gibbs running for 100-plus yards, when you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, when you have Sam Laporta, when you have David Montgomery, when you have Jameson Williams, who didn't catch a pass in that Tampa game, by the way, I believe, right? Or didn't catch one until very late in the game. No, he didn't catch a pass. It helps, right? But Goff, again, is just a very good, he's better than a game manager. He's a very good hurler of the football. And you get the Lions and the Vikings this week. This should be one-sided domination, in my opinion. It should. Credit to Minnesota for hanging in there, I guess. But they've lost back-to-back games to the Vikings and the Chargers, and now got to go on the road to Detroit. The Lions are kind of picking up steam quite a bit. This is a 5-2 team that a lot of people can regard as the best in football right now. They get Minnesota this week, then they go on the road to Washington, which is no longer that difficult of a game, and then to Philly for Sunday Night Football. I mean, there was a lot was made in the offseason about how difficult this schedule is, and the Lions won't be able to, maintain what they did last season with the schedule. And I argued at the very beginning of the year, it's actually going to be the opposite, because now there's no more blowout games at Ford Field against the Titans, against the Jaguars. Every game they play now is going to be competitive, and that's going to help them in the postseason, where it's nothing but playoff, obviously nothing but close and competitive games. I still think they're better than the Packers. I think once they get them in Detroit, Detroit will get them. Again, we shall see. But this spot, I'm going to take the Lions to blow out the Vikings. This will feel like one of those games last year. Minnesota offense is absolutely in ruins right now. You know what Goff gives, and Amon-Ra due to bad defenses, and Dan Campbell does to bad teams. They roll right over them. Give me Detroit at home to beat the Vikings. Next up, we go to the other NFC North team. I do expect the Green Bay Packers to blow out the Carolina Panthers. Do I think Green Bay is as good as people are perceiving them to be right now? No, I'm not. Do I think they're the number one team in the NFL? No. I think when they play Philadelphia next week on Monday night in Green Bay, I think they lose. But what a game for the Packers in Pittsburgh. I think what I got out of that game, though, really is not, look how great Green Bay is. To me, I saw, look how great, or like how poorly executed the Pittsburgh Steelers are. I mean, Pittsburgh, so many drives down the field, and it's time for a Chris Boswell 50-yard field goal. They just couldn't execute it all. They couldn't make the plays when they needed to. And now here we are. We've got, the Green Bay Packers, who are 5-1-1. They have the best record in football right now, taking on the Panthers at home. Green Bay, again, against bad teams, they're going to beat them down, especially at home. We saw that, they struggled a little bit on the road in Arizona. They came back, they came out of that victory, came out of that game with the victory. Green Bay is not really that injured of a team right now. In terms of they're getting guys back, they got Christian Watson back. Jaden Reed's out for a while, obviously, but I mean, you have a solid enough core right now to the point where they should be able to roll over a Panthers team that is somewhat injured. Now, it is very injured. Now, the biggest intrigue is Bryce Young playing this week, because Andy Dalton last week got to start his yearly start where Dalton gets to suit up, and it was really bad. It was really bad. Andy Dalton took a sack at the end of half with no timeouts at the Bills' 10-yard line. And was it kind of a difficult task for Dalton? Sure, but the Bills' defense is not good. And Dalton goes in there, goes 16 for 24 passing, 175 yards, and throws an interception. So the Red Rifle did not look great. Will Bryce Young, though, be back this week is the question. The latest report on him, Dave Canales said Bryce Young logged an encouraging running session on Monday, and the team is hopeful that he will practice in some capacity on Wednesday. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like he's not playing. He logged an encouraging running session, and you're hoping he can practice in some capacity? They're starting Andy Dalton again. And they know, too. They're going to Green Bay. And if I'm the Panthers, I'm starting Dalton again, too. Why shatter Young's confidence? He's playing good football. I mean, Carolina, maybe, you're 4-4. Maybe you could go into you're not going to Green Bay and winning. Bring Bryce Young back next week when you play the Saints at home. Perfect spot. Don't bring him into Green Bay, because we know what's going to happen. We completely know what's going to happen, even if Bryce Young plays in Green Bay. The Packers defense and that pressure with Micah Parsons and company, it is difficult. You cannot get away from those guys. Look how many times last week Aaron Rodgers is sacked. Look how many times the week before Micah Parsons with how many sacks against Jacoby Brissett in Arizona, right? Why bring Bryce Young in this? Just throw Dalton out there, throw him out to the Wolves. Unfortunately, love the Red Rifle, but throw Dalton out there, let him manage, and then go build back next week with Bryce Young in at home against New Orleans and on the road in Atlanta. Two very winnable games that could get the Panthers very well to 6-5. I mean, right? I don't know. Green Bay's good. Green Bay's a really good team. I cannot deny that. Jordan Love's playing good football, right? Josh Jacobs is still... Jacobs, I don't think is 100% at all. I mean, he didn't even lead the Packers in rushing last game. He did score a touchdown to save his fantasy points like he does every single week. But Emmanuel Wilson, the third-year man out of Fort Valley, got more carries than Josh Jacobs, ran for more yards than Josh Jacobs. It was an illness a couple weeks ago for Jacobs, and then we knew he was dealing with a calf injury. I believe the calf injury is definitely still bugging him a little bit. I would expect the Packers to kind of manage his role a little bit this week because they know they're playing Carolina, and they are 12.5-point favorites. But I do believe Green Bay runs right through the Panthers here. Again, Dalton or Young, it doesn't really matter. Panthers just aren't on Green Bay's level right now, and the Packers, again, are in that position where you play bad teams and you should stomp them just because that's the confidence they're playing with, and that's what good teams in the National Football League do. They go out there and beat down on bad teams. Give me Green Bay. Next up, we go to Nashville, Tennessee for the Tennessee Titans and the Los Angeles Chargers. I would not bet on this football game. I wouldn't do it, but if you force me to make a pick, I'm going to take Tennessee plus 10.5. I know the Chargers operate on the road. They're not very good on the road. and the Chargers will make good teams look bad at times. Now, they made the Vikings look bad because of their quarterback situation, and yes, the Chargers are a good football team. They really are. I have been singing the praises for Justin Herbert. I am a little bit concerned, though, with Justin Herbert. Guys, Herbert's everywhere right now, okay? And, good on bro, right? All right, I'm not, hey, I'd be doing the same thing. But good on bro, right? Herbert's at the Lakers game. Justin Herbert's at the Lakers game. Justin Herbert's at the World Series. Justin Herbert's, cool. This is, crazy PR that's going on right now. I know they're on a bye week, and, I know he's going to, whatever, or they're on a short or long bye week, essentially. I'm a little bit concerned with Justin Herbert. I think he's going to be fine, okay? But yeah, the dude is everywhere right now. He's at Keenan Allen's Halloween party, which, again, I know Keenan Allen's his teammate. But still, it's just every day, it's oh, where's Justin Herbert today? And Justin Herbert's now, he's with Justin Bieber at the World Series. I don't know. It's crazy, by the way, Justin Herbert's mainstream now. Anyways, the Chargers will go into Tennessee and win. I just don't think they cover. That's just what the Chargers do. They keep bad teams in games. Tennessee, last time they played at home, they lost to the Patriots. The only game they've won this season is on the road in Arizona. But, a good gauge for me to determine where I'm going to go sometimes and what am I going to pick sometimes is looking at fan bases on Twitter. And, how fan bases think, what they think about their team going on the road, especially for games like this. Not many people are going to be talking about Chargers and Titans this week. Again, I fully expect the Chargers to win the football game. They might just win it by a touchdown, though, or they're going to win it by a field goal. They'll keep Tennessee in the game, and that's not going to be, that's going to be because of the O-line failing Justin Herbert. Quentin Johnston's going to be dropping footballs. The defense is going to forget how to play. That's just how the Chargers operate. Now, they will walk into Tennessee, and they will definitely win the football game. However, you look at Los Angeles Chargers Twitter, and those fans, are petrified of this Tennessee matchup because everything's going right for them right now. Again, Justin Herbert is on his Travis Kelce arc of being, really, really popular, just not annoying as hell. Like in that, in that relationship, but it's okay. And, the NFL's, well, hopefully the NFL doesn't push this one on us like Kittle, not Kittle, my goodness, like Kelce and Taylor Swift, because that's that thing in Kansas City made me question my love of the game of football. But regardless, though, Chargers fans, they're little scared about this game because we're walking into Tennessee, we're supposed to blow this team out, and we're still the Chargers. I think Los Angeles easily takes care of Tennessee, in terms of just the outcome. I wouldn't bet the game outright. Again, I have a feeling that Tennessee is going to cover in this game. Cam Ward, just get the guy help. I know he's not playing all that well, but what do you want Cam Ward to do with this team? It was the same thing I kept asking last season. What do you want Will Levis to do with that team? Guys, when Will Levis, Will Levis last season, you get rid of Derrick Henry, you get rid of DeAndre Hopkins, who I know wasn't his prime anymore, but still a serviceable guy. And what do you want to do with, these rando receivers plus Calvin Ridley? I'm going with the Chargers here. I'm going with the Chargers to win, but I'm going to take Tennessee to cover. I think they can. I think they're very capable of covering in this game. Not because I like anything about Tennessee, just because I think the Chargers are going to choke a little bit. Chargers with expectations is difficult. And look at the last game they played on the road this season. We all thought they were going to run right through Miami. Miami's been god-awful. And sure, is Tennessee worse than Miami is? Yeah, 100%. 100%. But look what happened when they went to Miami. They, had to snatch that game from the jaws of defeat. If it's not for Herbert being Superman and getting out of 2 sacks and, finding Ladd McConkey and Hassan Haskins putting on a great block, Los Angeles doesn't go to Miami and win that football game. So they barely beat the Dolphins by 2 points. I think we see the same thing against Tennessee. I think a little bit more, room to work with there. I think they win it by a touchdown. But I think Los Angeles wins, by the way. Credit to Oronde Gadsden, the rookie out of Syracuse. Made a lot of money last year catching the football from Kyle McCord. And now he's got Justin Herbert. So give me the Chargers to win, but I'm going to take Tennessee to cover. Would I bet on it? Absolutely not. Let's go to the Super Bowl 51 rematch, 28-3. Ha 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 ha. 28-3. The New England Patriots play the Atlanta Falcons. I so hope CBS is putting Matt Ryan on the call for this game. I know he works for CBS. Please have him announce this game. It would be so hilarious. Patriots on the road, or at home, at Gillette Stadium, taking on the Atlanta Falcons. I expect New England to blow this team out. Is it crazy that we are entering another AFC East dynasty with New England? We're actually not, guys. We're not. They're really good. And Drake May right now, if I had to vote on an MVP, I know my MVP vote changes every single week. Actually, my MVP vote will go to Jonathan Taylor right now. But Drake May's right there. All right. I'll keep saying I was skeptical of Drake May to start the season. I am no longer. Drake May is the truth. Drake May is a franchise guy. He's the next Tom Brady. No one will ever be Tom Brady. But Drake May, I think if there's another Lombardi race in New England, it's going to be with Drake May. I believe it is. May's legit, and he's doing it with really not that much help, which is really encouraging for New England because this brings you back to the Tom Brady days where, he's throwing to Julian Edelman. He's throwing to Josh Gordon, which, all right, credible, but it's not like, they've got a super team in New England. They never did with Brady. Their defense sometimes was, but offensively never, and that's really what Drake May's doing right now. I mean, he's throwing the ball to, Stephon Diggs has been great. Keyshawn Boutte has been amazing. But, you didn't think going into the season Boutte was going to be a big-time player for New England. I know he was good in college. Well, Brian Kelly moved him to the slot, but it's okay. Rushing-wise, I mean, they're still, pounding the rock with Ramondre Stevenson. Ooh. There's not a lot of help going on for Drake May, and he's figuring it out. He's throwing the ball to Mac Hollins for 90 yards. Now, the Patriots, they've had a cupcake schedule so far, and it does get a little harder throughout the year, but not really. Atlanta, Tampa next week on the road. I think they lose that game. Jets at home win. Bengals on the road probably win. Giants Monday Night Football win. Buffalo at home. I think Buffalo gets them the second time around. In Baltimore, probably a loss. In New York, win. Miami at home win. Guys, the Patriots are going to finish 12-5. They're going to finish 12-5. It's going to be up to Buffalo to try to obviously overcome that and win the division. I think they will, personally. I think the Bills will win this thing. But who knows? I think it's going to come right down to the wire. Both teams have very similar schedules from here on out. But credit to New England for getting to where they're at. Another big win against the Cleveland Browns. Now, Will Campbell gets beat a lot against Myles Garrett, but there's not better, pass rushers in football than Myles Garrett. Garrett throws his helmet at the end of the game. I hope that was not out of frustration that, you got pulled from the game. Because you were losing by so much. I hope that was in frustration of you're losing, but at the same time, dude, you chose to be here. You wanted to trade in the offseason, and you said, cha-ching, I just wanted money, so I'm back in Cleveland, Ohio. You knew you were never going to win on the Browns, so don't start complaining like A.J. Brown is over in Philadelphia about not getting targets, okay? Different circumstance, I get it. But still, big win for the Patriots. The Browns still suck. What's new? The Atlanta Falcons. Back-to-back L's. There's a lot of optimism around them after the Bills game, and then, nope, that's all down the drain. Loss in San Francisco or in Santa Clara to the Niners. Loss at home against the Miami Dolphins. Sure, it was Kirk Cousins starting, and there goes any of Kirk's potential trade value. Is Michael Penix back yet, though? That's the question. Penix, on Monday, Raheem Morris said Penix is day-to-day, and same with Drake London. He's day-to-day. And Jesse Bates is day-to-day. You know what that means? I'm day-to-day on the Falcons. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I don't know what I was going for there. It means I'm not picking the Falcons, okay? I don't know who's going to play. Respect to Kirk, but I don't know. I prefer Penix. I'm not the highest on Penix. If you've watched the channel, you know that. I like Michael Penix. I just don't think he's the best college or NFL quarterback right now. He was great in college, don't get me wrong. Michael Penix is way better than Kirk Cousins. But the rest of the Falcons team is not very good. They're overrated, overhyped. Oh, the Falcons are finally winning the South this season. They're 3-4, okay? They're 3-4, soon to be 3-5, and then 3-6 after they lose to the Colts next week in Germany. So I think they're playing in Germany. So it's tough to be a Falcons fan right now. It's always been tough to be a Falcons fan. 28-3. I'm going to go final score prediction, 28-3 for the Patriots over the Atlanta Falcons at Gillette Stadium. Give me Drake May in New England. Next up, we go on to East Rutherford, New Jersey, to the new Meadowlands over there, obviously, in New York. Giants versus 49ers. Ooh, did the Niners really let us down last week? What the hell was that? Couldn't get a first down to save your lives last week in Houston. I get it, they're very injured. It was just a very disappointing game, and I get it. Oh, the Texans are a much better home team than they are on the road. I'm about to challenge that again in a couple minutes here. But yeah, Christian McCaffrey, 25 rushing yards after having a game where he had 130 rushing yards. I get it, McCaffrey was someone involved in the past game, but not really because nothing was going on for San Francisco offensively. Mac Jones, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Brutal game. That's all I can say. Brutal game. They could not get a stop against C.J. Stroud and Woody Marks. And, not even, Nico Collins isn't even playing, so he's throwing to Xavier Hutchinson. Braxton Berrios had 5 catches in 2025. Jalen Noel, Not going to cut it out of Houston. If I can get anything from that game, though, I hope that they finally establish that Woody Marks is RB1 here. He better be RB1. Like, 100%. Stop running Nick Chubb. Go to Woody Marks full time. Disappointing game, though, for the Niners. Now the question, comes at you again. Will Brock Purdy play this week? I don't know. Questionable, here it is. The report on Brock Purdy is Brock Purdy toe has a chance to return to action against the Giants. Shanahan says it's too early to say. I don't think it's a long shot. We'll see how he's doing Wednesday. And there's injury news on Mac Jones. He suffered a bruised knee in his day-to-day. Holy crap, can this team stay healthy? Everyone's hurt. Ayuk's still not back. D. Winters is day-to-day. Pearsall, questionable again, obviously did not play last week. I mean, what goes on with this team? Is everyone made out of glass? Holy crap. Everyone's hurt. I'm still taking them, though. I'm not taking the Giants. Okay? Guys, with the Giants without Scatterboom. I know it's one player. Guys, you have to turn from Cam Scatterboom to Tyrone Tracy. There is nothing that those two guys do the same. Not at all. Okay? No disrespect to Tyrone Tracy, former Purdue Boilermaker. I'd say, if anything, maybe Tracy is somewhat of a better receiving back, catching back. No, the only thing I can say that Tracy does better than Cam Scatterboom is that maybe he has better hands. Other than that, Scatterboom's a better runner. Tracy's faster, but Scatterboom's a better runner. Scatterboom's a better run after the catch guy, and he can actually break tackles. More physical. He can block. I mean, that's one of the main focal points of this Giants offense. So you're the Giants now. You lost your two best offensive weapons this season in Cam Scatterboom and Malik Neighbors. And now, good luck, Jackson Dart, because I'm telling you now, and, if you can get Jackson Dart in fantasy, still do it. He is going to just now have to go crazy, because think about all those rushing opportunities Scatterboom gets to the goal line. That's going to Jackson Dart now. He already gets a lot of red zone runs and, goal line chances. They are all now going to go to Jackson Dart. Believe you me, he is going to get all that production. They can't punch it in with Tyrone Tracy. Wandale Robinson, my goodness. Wandale Robinson has been very involved in the past game, and he's been putting up big numbers. Darius Slayton, but again, look at this team and look who Dart's throwing the ball to. Tyrone Tracy, Wandale Robinson, Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt, Theo Johnson, Daniel Bellinger's hurt. Ooh, man. It's just not a lot. And I get it, Niners are going cross-country for this game. I think they win it. I don't care who the quarterback is. Jones or Purdy at this point, I don't really think it matters. I think the Niners, they're kind of waiting for Jones to have a bad game so they could go back to Brock. I think that's now, and this is the perfect game to get Brock back in there for, because if you don't play Brock this week, then, are you playing him against the Rams, a team that's already beat you? With Mac Jones, in all fairness, but Jones threw for 350 yards and they lost. No, they beat the Rams. I don't know why I messed that up. Yeah, that's the thing. You're going to bring Brock back next week against the Rams, a team that Mac beat, though? I don't know. When, I have a feeling they might go back to Brock week 11 in Arizona. Because then that schedule's really easy. Arizona, Monday night against the Panthers. Browns, tough game, because the defense, but still. Tennessee, Indianapolis, Chicago, Seattle, and then you ride with Brock going into the postseason, assuming you get there. I don't know. I'm not too high on the Niners right now because of that loss in Houston. Now you got to go back on the road, back cross country. I'm going to hesitantly take the Niners. I don't know if I'd bet on it, though. Give me San Francisco to win in New York, again, against the depleted Giants team. On to potentially the game of the week this week in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Indianapolis Colts. What a football game. But Pittsburgh, again, is not looking great. And I'll just say it now. The Colts should run right through Pittsburgh. Which, if you said at the beginning of the season, and said really almost in any season since Peyton Manning left, or really since Andrew Luck left Indianapolis, that Indianapolis would walk into Heinz Field or Acrisure Stadium, whatever the hell they call it. If you told me that they would walk into Pittsburgh and blow a Pittsburgh Steelers team out, that'd be absurd. They will absolutely do that this week. Guys, Pittsburgh's defense is atrocious. They can't stop anything. Again, that's what Pittsburgh's been built on over the last 2 decades of how great they are defensively. Indianapolis is going to run right through them. I mean, the Colts, watch them play. I know they've been playing kind of a soft schedule, but they walk into Los Angeles and beat the Chargers. They beat the Broncos. They've beaten good teams, okay? I know, again, it's not been the toughest schedule. I don't like the notion that it is just a complete cakewalk, though. They've played good teams, and they've beaten, right now, the 2 top teams in the AFC West record-wise. I'm not saying those teams are better than the Chiefs. The Broncos might be, but record-wise, those are the 2 best teams in the AFC West, and the Colts beat both of them. Anyways, they go to Pittsburgh this week. The Steelers won't be able to get a stop, guys. Watch how the Colts play. Every single time they touch the ball, they score. And it's hard not to when they have all these weapons, and the fact that Daniel Jones is playing at an elite level. Daniel Jones is playing like a top 5 quarterback in football this season. Another dominant performance for Daniel Jones against the Tennessee Titans. 3 touchdowns, 270 yards. Daniel Jones now this season is 4th in the NFL in passing with 2,060 yards, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Second best QBR in all football. My goodness. And how about Jonathan Taylor? 14 touchdowns in 8 weeks? What? It's absurd stuff. He should legitimately get MVP votes. They're going to give it to Mahomes. I'm very sure they will. But Jonathan Taylor should legitimately get looks for the most valuable player award this season, because that's what he is. Every game, there is a big Jonathan Taylor moment. It is insane what this guy is doing. So, but by the way, you have more than him. Michael Pittman, who I've been saying all year long is going to fully operate as a receiver one this season, has been doing it. His biggest game of the year, 8 catches, 100 yards. I mean, the hands on this guy. 6 touchdowns, that ties his career high for a single season. And we aren't even halfway yet. The balls that Pittman catches, the one-handed grab in the end zone. That defender is draped all over him. It is a clear pass interference call. They call it, but Pittman still comes down with the football. That ball that Pittman bats up into the air because he can't secure it at first glance. He keeps running and then snags it and pulls it back down. Absurd stuff out of Michael Pittman. Pittman deserves the respect because he is just that good. And by the way, Tyler Warren might be one of the best tight ends in football. He is one of the best tight ends in football. Alec Pierce is one of the best deep threat guys in all of football as well. Josh Downs is back and healthy. He's dangerous. The Colts are dangerous. Guys, the AFC goes through Lucas Oil Stadium this season. It does. The entire AFC goes through Indianapolis. They are 5-0 at home, and they are going to be so difficult to beat in the postseason as well. Guys, we may be staring at a Colts-Lions Super Bowl. The NFL's probably not going to let Mahomes lose to Indianapolis in the playoffs. But maybe, I don't know. Guys, this is a new era of Colts football. Daniel Jones, Luck was the successor to Peyton Manning. Daniel Jones will be the Super Bowl successor, though, to Peyton Manning. Just you wait. Pittsburgh, Rodgers, Unk's still doing his thing, I guess, with his very Unk celebration. The celebration where he does, he puts the leg up as well. I don't know. I've lost all faith in that team. You lose the Bengals on Thursday Night Football. You lose the Unk Bowl between Rodgers and Flacco. And you can't even get Rodgers a victory against his former team, the Green Bay Packers. Now, that offense looks good up until they get to the 40-yard line and they completely stall out. Defense can't get stops. Jordan Love literally used the technique of, close my eyes, Tucker Kraft somewhere. And Tucker Kraft would come down with the football. Yeah, I don't trust the Steelers defense at all. I love the Colts offense, and Indianapolis should be able to score every single time they touch the ball. I get it, tough environment in Pittsburgh. Indianapolis is meant to win this season. That's just what they do. They go out and they win football games. They should be able to go to Pittsburgh and win, and I think they do cover the spread as well. Right now we're looking at 3.5, 2.5. Oh, perfect. If it's 2.5, then yeah, actually take it 100%. Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman Jr., a dominant performance for Indianapolis this week on the road in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Next up, we go to the Houston Texans and the Denver Broncos. So I said a little bit ago, I'm going to test this Texans home theory again. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to take Denver to go to Houston and win. I believe in Denver so much right now, man. Because if that offense continues to play like they did against the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants in the fourth quarter, they are so dangerous. And I get it. Dallas is one of the worst defenses in football. I completely understand that. But Denver puts 44 points up on that team. The balls Bo Nix is throwing at the end of that game or just throughout that game. And, Dallas, Tony Romo said this himself too, but, you look at how Dallas plays defensively and how they scheme against Denver. They said, okay, we are not letting Cortland Sutton beat us. So, all right, no problem for Bo Nix. He goes to Troy Franklin with a big day. 2 touchdowns, 90 yards, 6 catches. He goes to Evan Ingram. They use the run game so effectively with J.K. Dobbins, with R.J. Harvey. That is a great team victory for the Denver Broncos, beating Dallas 44-24. We said they were going to cover on our best bets, and they did exactly that. Now they get the Houston Texans. They get another Texas team, but this time they are in Houston and not playing the Cowboys, obviously, from Dallas and Denver. Houston beat the 49ers. I don't know. They're a good home team. They beat Tennessee at home. They played Tampa very competitive at NRG Stadium as well. They have back-to-back home games now against the Denver Broncos and against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's still an offense that I don't love. I think Stroud played the best game of the season so far, 318 yards. They got Woody Marks very involved in both the run game and the pass game last week. But you get a very confident, a very good Denver Broncos defense. A Denver Broncos defense that is without Pat Surtain for about a month, which is brutal. So obviously other guys are going to need to step up in his absence. But I still really like what Denver's got going on. That is not a one-man show defensively. Obviously, you love Pat Surtain. There are still other stars, though, in the defense as well. Obviously, we're looking at a guy like Alex Singleton, who's having a big season. Benito is obviously very good. Talanoa Hufanga is having another very good year in his first year over from San Francisco. Riley Moss is not doing that bad of a job as well at the corner position. There are good players throughout this defense. And again, yes, Surtain is what puts them over the top. It is still a very good, all-around, well-balanced defense that the Broncos have. One of the best in the National Football League. And what has always been lacking out of the Denver Broncos has been what they can do offensively. Well, look at what they're doing so far, at least in the last 5 quarters that they've played. Bo Nix does look very good. The Sean Payton system has been great for him. And if they can keep establishing the run with J.K. Dobbins, with R.J. Harvey, they are going to be a problem. I know Houston really steps up defensively at home. I think the Broncos see that success. I think they are going to be able to move the ball downfield against Houston. And the biggest factor, obviously, to the victory in this game, in my opinion, for the Denver Broncos, undoubtedly, is going to be that defense. I think the defense is going to shut down the run game. And whatever Houston has of a run game, we're talking C.J. Stroud, obviously taking off himself. We're talking Woody Marks, and I guess whatever's left of Nick Chubb. And I don't know if Joe Mixon's ever going to come back. And force C.J. Stroud to beat them over the top. I know, again, they were beating up on the Niners with Xavier Hutchinson, Jalen Noel, with Braxton Berrios, potentially Nico Collins returns this week, Dalton Schultz. You're not going to beat this secondary with, again, Hutchinson and Noel, good young players. Braxton Berrios is, he was a dog at the University of Miami, but shout out to Braxton for putting together one hell of a NFL career. Obviously more of a kick return than anything, but 5 catches last week. I'm not too scared of Braxton Berrios in 2025. Respect the guy a lot. Not too concerned, though. The Denver secondary should see a lot of success. I'm going Broncos to win this game on the road. Plus 100, great odds, in my opinion. Take the Broncos at plus money and run. Give me Denver to win this game on the road in Houston. Next up, we go to the afternoon game, starting things off with a showdown in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is severely underpriced for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Coming off a bye week, coming off playing the London game, completely refocused team going to Las Vegas and taking on this god-awful Raiders team. Now, you do get 2 teams coming off of byes, but there is not the one team that is worse in football than the Las Vegas Raiders. Actually, there's a couple. It's just, there's so many bottom feeders in the AFC, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Jets, Browns, Titans, Raiders, potentially Dolphins as well. I think the Dolphins are slightly better than those teams, but, holy crap, dude, there's so many just god-awful teams. Every division has one. In the NFC, there's divisions who don't have straight bottom feeders. Like, the Giants will give you tough games. The Vikings, I know they're banged up and trying to figure themselves out, but they can give you a tough game. Saints can give you a tough game. Don't get me wrong. Cardinals can give you a tough game. These teams in the AFC do not give you tough games. Raiders, Titans, Browns, yes, because they're in the AFC North. Jets, still, no, they won 1 game, don't care, okay? The Raiders. It's a miracle this team's won 2 games. Again, I'll keep saying it. That win for Las Vegas in week 1 in New England gets still more confusing by the day. I don't know how they went to Foxborough and won, and that game made us all believe, oh, wow, Geno Smith might actually be legit again. I guess you just needed Pete Carroll back. By the way, speaking of former Seahawks, this team still employs Jamal Adams. Their starting quarterback is Geno Smith. Welcome in Tyler Lockett. Oh, wow. Hey, Cam Chancellor, what are you doing right now? Isn't Earl Thomas like a criminal? Didn't something bad happen with Earl Thomas? I don't know. Richard Sherman from the booth, you want to play football still? I don't know. Was Earl Thomas a criminal? I thought Earl Thomas did something bad. Did he not? I could have sworn there was something about Earl Thomas. Never mind, I guess he's not. I apologize for going after Earl Thomas like that. He's going to be in the, he's a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame. Wasn't there something really bad that happened to Earl Thomas? I could have sworn there was. I don't know. Was it something like Earl Thomas and his brother? I'm getting sidetracked here. But I swear there was some story about him and his brother and they were, I don't know. This was real. NFL, okay, maybe Earl Thomas wasn't at fault here, but yeah, guys, I'm sorry, I'm sidetracking so much, but this is real. NFL star Earl Thomas's orgy with brother caught and held at gunpoint by his wife and her friends. He wasn't a criminal. He's just a freak. Sorry, isn't that a crazy story? Whatever. So I apologize for calling Earl Thomas a criminal. He's not. Anyways, Tyler Lockett is in Vegas now. Awesome. I don't really know what that does for you, bro. Went from the Titans to the Raiders. Like, okay. Ashton Jeanty still has nowhere to run. He's going to get blown up in the backfield. Jacksonville's defense is underrated. I know the Rams beat them and scored 35 points. I don't care. Really, I don't. The Jaguars should be fine here. Trevor Lawrence, again, is actually a very good quarterback when, he has weapons. And I think the emergence of Travis Hunter and how Hunter is going to continue to be a big part of this offense is going to go a long way for Jacksonville. They just need to reestablish the run because when they're at their best, ETN's ripping big carries every single game. And in games against Seattle and Los Angeles, ETN's got 27, 44 rushing yards. So they need to get that run game going. That will set up everything for Trevor Lawrence and Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas for that matter, and Brenton Strange. I think Jacksonville easily takes care of Vegas. I don't really care. The game is in Nevada. Jacksonville's coming off a bye week. They should be very prepared for this spot. And don't forget, Jacksonville at one point in time was a 4-1 team. Sure, they run to back-to-back NFC West squads and they lose back-to-back. We shouldn't really be counting out Jacksonville right now, though, for the postseason. They are still very alive for it. You're a 4-3 team, soon to be 5-3, and look at your schedule coming up. You have a tiebreaker potentially if you need it against the Kansas City Chiefs. You have they have Houston coming up next week, winnable spot. How does Houston get 3 straight home games? You get the Chargers at home, we'll see. Cross country for the Chargers, Cardinals on the road, Titans on the road. There's a manageable path for the Jaguars here. I like them to easily walk into Las Vegas and win. Give me Trevor Lawrence and the guys to dominate in Vegas against the Las Vegas Raiders. Next up, we go to SoFi Stadium here in Los Angeles, California, as we've got the Los Angeles Chargers taking on, the Los Angeles Rams taking on the New Orleans Saints. That's the emergence of Justin Herbert. He's mainstream now. I think of Los Angeles football, I just think Chargers now. I'm kidding. They're always going to be the Jets. No, it's okay. They'll always be the New York Mets. The Rams are taking on the Saints. The Cot Commander's been benched. No, not the Cot Commander. It's Tyler Shug, they're calling him? I could have sworn they used to call him Tyler Shutt in college. Tyler Shug, they're calling him, I think. Tyler Shutt is now a starting quarterback of the National Football League. Guys, what did I keep saying about Rattler? He was going to get 100% scapegoated, and that is what's happened. He wasn't actually playing that bad. Sure, he fumbled, and sure, he threw that bad pick six. Guys, it wasn't that bad. No, Rattler didn't fumble. It was Rashid Shaheed that fumbled. Why did Rattler get scapegoated here? Guys, statistically, he played better than Tyler Shutt. Tyler Shutt went 17 for 30 passing for 128 yards and threw a pick. Spencer Rattler went 15 for 21 passing, threw a pick. Sure, that sucked. Tampa's defense is good. They had him backed up to their own goal line. And he threw a pick too, whatever. Guys, Rattler played better than Shutt. It's not Rattler's fault Shaheed fumbles. Which, by the way, are we not going to, okay, the fact that they called back the Winfield touchdown was one of the most ridiculous calls I've ever seen. I'm not going to let that get forgotten about, guys. FBI, what are we doing here? There was no whistle on the Winfield, fumble recovery for a touchdown, okay? Shaheed fumbles. Winfield picks it up. There's no whistle. And there's no whistle, by the way, not just by listening to it, but the fact that all Saints players try to tackle Winfield. If there's a whistle, they would have stopped. But there's no whistle anywhere. Fox outed the refs by playing the audio. There's no whistle we can hear. Insane. I was so pressed, man. I had Bucks -4. If they did not cover that spread, I would have quit betting on the National Football League. Which still is very weird. Why did Winfield not get the touchdown? And nobody's going to talk about it because the Bucks won by 20. Sure, that was an unbelievable call. That almost swung the game too, by the way. It was 7-0, about to be 14-0. Saints Bucks get the ball from the 40. Baker fumbles, and the Saints get into field range and kick a field goal to enter the half. It was 7-3. Obviously, Tampa ran away with it, but that needs to be talked about. But I told you, I've been telling you, Rattler's going to get scapegoated here. The team's god-awful. They're going to be even worse with Tyler Shutt, okay? Kamara is just getting old. You lose Kendre Miller, the Texas Christian running back, for the season. Devin Neal's a product, don't get me wrong. He's going to be good out of Kansas. But you're injured. Shaheed and Olave, all right. The O-line's one of the worst in football. The defense is just old and not very good anymore. They kind of held Tampa, sure, but what did you want Rattler to do? They're going to get 10 times worse with Shaw at quarterback. Justice for the cock commander. Unbelievable. Shaw's not good. He's the worst starting quarterback in the National Football League. I'm sorry, he is. Guys, he's older than Rattler. Shaw's 26 and he's a rookie. I mean, he's a full year. Wait, these guys are the same birthday. That's weird. He's a full year older than Spencer Rattler. If these guys played in high school, it would be Tyler Shaw's senior night, and Rattler would still be the upcoming junior. What are we doing? Rattler's been in the league for multiple seasons, and we thought Rattler had a long college career. Because he did. He went from, he's here, Rattler is the upstart, obviously. He's at Oklahoma, then he goes to South Carolina. He played 5 years in college, and yet he's still younger than Tyler Shaw. When are we going to realize Shaw's just not that good? He really was never that good at Texas Tech. He had one good year at Louisville, and he's 26, let's take him instead of Shedeur Sanders. Unbelievable stuff, man. Unbelievable stuff. They're going to get blown out against the Rams. Rams coming off a bye week. Should be fully healthy. Well, close to fully healthy. Puka Nacua is still questionable. No, he's going to play. McVay said that Puka's returning to practice on Wednesday. They're going to put belt to ass to the Saints. Rattler at least would put up stats and blowouts, and he'd kind of keep the team close. Tyler Shaw will not do anything. He's way worse, not even close. Compared to the Cock Commander, and the Rams will beat them by 40 points. I'm so serious. Let's go alt spread minus 27.5 for the Los Angeles Rams at home against the New Orleans Saints. This will be a one-sided beatdown, and if you're watching, you'll question yourself why you're actually sitting there and watching the game. Give me the Rams. Next up, let's go to the other big game this week, the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs from Orchard Park. Big time game. Don't know why it's not on prime time because we have to watch the Seahawks and the Commanders on prime time. That's great. Love it. And the Cardinals and Cowboys are on Monday Night Football too. We've got a loaded primetime slate this week. It's unbelievable. But big spot, CBS, Jim Nantz, obviously, Tony Romo on the call, Bills and Chiefs from New York, from Buffalo. The Chiefs are on a run. They've won 3 consecutive games. By the way, though, all at home. We do need to say this. The Chiefs have been on the road only twice this season. What the hell? That's crazy. Well, technically, because the NFL loves the Chiefs, they had to make sure that the Chargers have the home game in Brazil because you can't take a game away from Arrowhead. They've played nothing but home games this season. That's unbelievable. They've gone to 2 road environments all year long. They went to Jacksonville. They went to New York to play the Giants. Both were on prime time. Is that not crazy? They go to Buffalo this week to take on the Buffalo Bills. Guys, if this is a postseason game, I think we all know what's going to happen. The Chiefs will win. However, guys, this is the regular season, and this is where the Bills actually beat Kansas City. It's the only way they do it. I mean, we've seen this before. We saw this in 2024 in the regular season. They didn't play in 2023, I don't think, in the regular season, right? No. They didn't play in 2024, 2023. 2022 is the year where Mahomes was saying this was the worst call I've ever seen, right? So, the last 2 times these teams have met in the regular season, Buffalo has beaten them. I expect the same exact thing to happen this year, right? They beat him, in 2024 in Orchard Park. 2022, they beat him at Arrowhead. They should be able to do it again. Now, when this game happens in the postseason, like it does every single year, I think we know what's going to happen, okay? And I'm just hoping for Josh Allen's sake, it's not in the AFC Championship game, and it's for the chance to play the eventual AFC winners in the Indianapolis Colts. Anyways, Buffalo looked good last week. They did not need Josh Allen to do much because James Cook ran for 216 yards. It was a blowout from the start. Buffalo goes to half up 19-9, and they just really poured. Actually, it wasn't a blowout from the start. It took a little bit for them to get going. It was the second half where James Cook and Allen found Shakir for 54-yard touchdown. Then that's where Buffalo really poured it on the Carolina Panthers. This, again, I will state to you what always happens with Buffalo and Kansas City. The Bills win in the regular season, and the Chiefs win in the playoffs. It is as easy as old as time. Okay? I'm hoping for Josh Allen's sake, actually, that these teams don't even meet in the postseason. I'm hoping either the Bills get eliminated before they get Kansas City, or Kansas City gets eliminated before they get Buffalo. Because I cannot stand to watch Josh Allen lose again on prime time in the playoffs to the Chiefs. Taking Buffalo here. Kansas City is looking better. Don't get me wrong. Mahomes is playing great football. I cannot deny that. Now, don't get me wrong. Threw a couple picks last week against the Commanders, or yesterday against the Commanders. It is what it is. He's still a plus 150 favorite to win the MVP. It's okay. The Chiefs are still by far the favorites to win the Super Bowl. It's okay. The Bills will get him here. Away from Arrowhead, the Chiefs are not as good, obviously. The Bills beat this team in the regular season quite a bit. I think the Chiefs are playing good football. The defense is looking really good. Buffalo should be able to strike on this team. I mean, I would assume. I've seen Josh Allen go out there and score, big points, big games. That's another thing about Josh Allen, too. The big games Josh Allen in the regular season does usually show up for. In the playoffs, he shows up, too. It's just his team around him doesn't really show up. I think the Bills should win this game. Again, plus 2.5 is great. I'll just take the money line here. I'm going to take plus 110 for Buffalo. Again, I want to make this clear. I think Kansas City probably beats this team in the playoffs. I hope they don't. I really hope the Bills win. And actually, I hope the Bills go to the Super Bowl this year. Kind of want the Colts, but still. Actually, the Bills get the Colts, or the Chiefs get the Colts in a couple weeks. Should be a big time game. Which, by the way, they have not flexed to prime time. You put the Chiefs on prime time every single week, and you don't do it when they play the Colts. Of course, because we have to watch the Chiefs and the Texans on prime time instead. I think the Bills can win this game. I think the Chiefs have looked good. They've played some bad defenses, and Detroit's shaky sometimes, but they played the Raiders, they played the Commanders, two offenses too right now, which, by the way, are inept, obviously, with the Commanders and Mariota, and the Raiders in general, not with the specific quarterback, just the Raiders. This should be a good spot for the Bills. The Chiefs haven't played a competitive game since the Lions game. I think the Bills go out there and get them. I'm gonna go Buffalo money line here. I trust Josh Allen. Let's go Bills. Get it done this week at home, plus 110 again for Buffalo. Next up, we go on to Sunday Night Football. Seahawks Commanders. Again, there are some great games this week. Colts Steelers, Buffalo Chiefs, Lions Vikings, Falcons Patriots. And we end up on this one from Sunday Night Football. Again, NFL, you have the flexibility or you have the availability and you can flex games if you want. But instead, here we are, Seattle and Washington. Call me crazy. I'm taking the Commanders to win. I am. Cross-country trip for Seattle. We talk about this all the time with the Seahawks. Them going on the road is difficult. And I know they did it a couple weeks ago when they went to Everbank Field or Stadium to Duval County, Jacksonville, and they went cross-country and beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. I understand this team has the capability of doing that. But going again cross-country for the second time in, 3.5 weeks, and playing a Commanders team that is desperate for a victory and a Commanders team that should be fully healthy this week. I believe Jaden Daniels is going to play. Now, if Jaden Daniels does not play, I would not bet this line. But if Daniels plays, Terry McLaurin played on Monday Night Football, said his quad is all right, and he'll take it day by day. I assume he's going to play. Again, I fully expect the Commanders to be back and fully healthy this week for Sunday Night Football. Am I kind of down on Washington this season? Yeah, I expected postseason again for the Commanders this year. I don't think they're going to get there. They have the Lions next week, and it's a very rough schedule, coming out of these losses. But hopefully Daniels plays. Again, there was, question marks early in the week last week that maybe he could play against Kansas City. Obviously, that did not happen. It was Marcus Mariota instead. And, credit to Mariota for trying. But, when you're your own leading rusher with 28 yards, that's not really the best formula to success. And obviously going to Arrowhead Stadium is just difficult to do in general. Playing the Chiefs is difficult to do in general. And obviously the Commanders couldn't get the better of that game. Okay, that's okay. We now have the Commanders and the Seahawks here. Seattle coming off a victory over the Texans, but my goodness, was that an unimpressive victory against Houston. Yeah, they got it done, credit to them, but oh man, that wasn't anything that I can get too excited for. The offense didn't look great. Their offense is literally, close your eyes, where's Jackson Smith and Jigba? Let's get Kenneth Walker down to the 1 yard line and give it to Zach Charbonnet to punch it in for the touchdown. I'm not too impressed with Seattle, honestly. Defense didn't look great. There was spots in that game where Stroud, was moving the ball a little bit. I don't know. I got to go Washington here, guys. I'm going to take the Commanders. I think this is a spot where they can upset Seattle. I think, obviously, they are much better with their starters playing and with Jaden Daniels playing. And this is nothing against Mariota, but Daniels is a reason, right? Jaden Daniels took the league by storm last season, was the rookie of the year last year, took the Commanders all the way to the NFC Championship game. He is a talent, okay? And when he's healthy, which is a little bit of trouble, again, he's had a rough start to 2025. Don't get me wrong, Commanders fans are getting a little bit worried about, should we have picked Drake May instead? I don't think all Commanders fans are questioning that, but there is some concern, obviously, when you get your starters back going, and obviously your leading receiver needs to be someone who's not a running back, because it was Jeremy McNichols last week, and I know he had a big garbage time drive late in the game. But if McNichols is your top receiver with 64 yards, and Mariota is your leading rusher with 28 yards last week, yeah, you have a problem. Jaden Daniels returning should be big time for this Commanders team, and I think they're going to come out with the victory here at home against the Seahawks. I'm just not that impressed with Seattle. I know they've won back-to-back games. Offense isn't looking that great. Again, their offense is literally Jackson Smith and Jigba, and that's it. Last 3 games for JSN, 132, 162, and 123 yards. Darnold's playing well, but other than JSN, I don't really love this team that much. I get it. Oh, Washington secondary is not very good. Let's just, whatever they do, make sure Marshawn Lattimore is not on Jackson Smith and Jigba. Don't care who it is. Don't care who else. Make sure it's not Lattimore. I'm going to take Washington hesitantly to win. The best play here, though, is plus 3.5 for the Commanders on Sunday Night Football at home. On to our final game of the week. Oh, whoa, I'm so excited for the Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals on Monday Night Football. Thank goodness college basketball is back on Monday night. No, actually, this is going to be an entertaining game. It is. It's a shootout. I mean, Arizona's going to have to be ready for the test. Guys, if anything, I'd bet the over here. 54.5 points go over. I actually don't mind the Cowboys either. This line has come down from 3.5 to 2.5. Dallas should easily cover 2.5 in my opinion. The Cardinals are not good. And I hate saying this. Are they going to get worse with Kyler coming back? I hope not. But I feel like they might, guys. Jacoby's played pretty well the last 2 weeks, and they just play good teams with Jacoby Brissett. They lost a one-score game in back-to-back weeks to the Indianapolis Colts and the Green Bay Packers. But again, football in the National Football League is dependent on matchups. And the matchup here at the Cardinals and Cowboys, you have, and you look at the Green Bay game, the Indianapolis game, good teams, Arizona caught up, or they were staying in that game. They were playing catch-up the entire time, but they were staying in it. Matchup-wise, though, I think this game might be more difficult for them. Monday Night Football game, all eyes on you, only game. You're in Jerry's World in a primetime spot. Dallas coming off a loss, but the Cowboys offense still very good. I know Prescott made some mistakes in the Broncos game. The Broncos are one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in all of the National Football League, so I'm not really too concerned about that. You get an offense that scores pretty much every single time they touch the ball. Obviously, you can say they're big four: Prescott, Javonte Williams, CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens. Who's going to guard all those guys for Arizona in that secondary? Oh, wait. Exactly. The run game out of Javonte Williams has been huge. Prescott gets too much hate. I get he did not play well in Denver, but I said at the beginning of the week, and I said that during our best bets on Saturday as well, look at the way Dallas plays at Jerry's World and look how they play away from that dome. They are a very good home team. They scored 40 points and had a tie against the Green Bay Packers in Dallas. They scored 40 against the Giants. They scored 44 against the Commanders at home in Dallas. On the road, other than the Jets, because the Jets suck, they have massively struggled. In Carolina, struggled. In Denver, struggled. At home, they are a very good team. And matchup-wise, they should put up 1 billion points in the Cardinals. At the same time, I don't know what Arizona's going to be if you go back to Kyler Murray this week. I hate that I have to talk about Kyler Murray like this, where I'm like, oh, man, I almost rather it be Jacoby Brissett. But unfortunately, that may be the truth. In a game like this, I think Brissett might be a little bit better for Arizona. Now, but at the same time, though, like if Kyler can't carve up this defense, I don't know what defense he can beat at this point in time. You're playing a god-awful defense, a defense you should be able to completely torch, okay? I still got to take the Cowboys. I just don't think the Cardinals are ready for the shootout. I think Marvin Harrison should have a big night, absolutely big night. I think watch out for Bam Knight. Bam Knight's going to get all the carries this week. I think the Cardinals expect Amari DiMercato to be back. I don't know why they released Michael Carter. Apparently they used DiMercato a lot in special teams and spots, but like, why are you releasing Michael Carter, who has actually played, not been injured, and didn't drop the football at the 1 yard line, costing you a game against the Tennessee Titans? Probably because DiMercato is going to sue the Cardinals or whatnot for getting into his face or whatnot and hitting him in the head. But yeah, you keep DiMercato, but you release Michael Carter, Michael Wilson receiver. I get it. Michael Carter is, he's going to be back on the practice squad, but expect a big Bam Knight day. Bam Knight's kind of established himself as RB1 right now. Connor injury, Trey Benson injury. I could argue the way Bam Knight's been playing and the production he's been seeing, you could actually start Bam Knight over Trey Benson, or at least you're getting a 1A, 1B situation where you're going a little bit of a rotational thing. But this will be Bam Knight's night. I expect him to go crazy this week. Benson comes back next week, so there's a lot of motivation for Bam Knight to go off. Also, by the way, look how much success that RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins had against the run game of Dallas. Bam Knight should be going absolutely back. He should be going insane this week. We'll see again who the starting quarterback is. Murray. Brissett has put up better numbers this season, and he's played better games than Kyler has all year long. So we shall see. Regardless of that, though, I just don't think Arizona's going to be able to keep up offensively. I think the Cowboys should be able to get it done. I know the Cardinals have played nothing but one-possession games. They've not played anything other than a one-possession game all year long. But still, if the line's 2.5, we just need to win off a Brandon Aubrey field goal, and I think we should be fine with that. So give me Dallas to win at home on Monday Night Football at Jerry's World, -2.5 against the Arizona Cardinals. Folks, thank y'all for watching our NFL predictions here for week number 9. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back again later in the week for our best bets and best player props, and next week as well for our week 10 NFL predictions. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.